The Intergalactic Cooperative Defense League, commonly shortened to Incadel, is fairly young on the universal stage. Created by the noble Karl Tlar, the first race to discover polaric gravity interface travel, the League's choice FTR method, Incadel was the primary state holding sovereignty over the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies. With 730,000 systems and 2,316 member races with a quite literally uncountable population, mostly due to the 30% of races classifying as hive minds, Incadel is magnificent for age. This is the story of the first war they ever fought. Read closely. Incadel was famous on the universal stage for a variety of goods, art and technologies pioneered by the member races, along with a massive cultural export in the form of their ingenious system of government. By no small margin, the most numerous races were the Karatlar, 30%, Ziontal, 23%, and the one-mind Kuralti, 15%. And with the exception of Kuralti, as they went through 2 generations of workers a week, this was in order of age. The Karatlar were known for their scientific might, standing at a gargantuan average of 42 centimeters in height. The Ziontal were renowned artists, a respectable 35 centimeters on average. Kuratli's largest worker form was around 7 centimeters in length, and they were the most efficient workforce known to date. But there remained rumours within the races of the universe. Rumours of titans hailing from a fringe world in the great darkness. These titans were said to stand at nearly 2 full meters tall, could withstand the harsh environment of terrestrial rocky planets as opposed to gas giant moons, and, if word of mouth was to be believed, could lift up to 100 kilograms. Most dismissed these titans as propaganda, so that the Big Three could fend off dissent. The idea that any race, with just 10 of their members, could lift a ton was simply preposterous. These rumours should have been a warning, though, for the Carnaxi Imperium. The Imperium had been rapidly expanding, nearly 10 galaxies under their fold. Incadel remained a strategic target for the less advanced, though large, empire. Andromeda did not survive the assault. The passionate defense of the galaxy a story for another day, perhaps, but the Imperium was not prepared for their next target. The general theme of the offensive is best shown by the following log. Opening log. Captain Zishun Char of the 38th Star Brigade, Karatlar, on the defense of Imperium. When I was initially assigned to the 38th, I was concerned. Our transport ship, which should have been around a kilometre long to support the brigade, was closer to 100 kilometres at the beam. I had pondered the necessity of something so unimaginably large, why we would dedicate the resources, and for what possible reason we would create such a behemoth. Then I saw them. The Titans, or humans as they called themselves, were truly something to behold. Mammals, humans, were the only known instance of a sentient species of Megafauna, Earth being the only known Gaia world in Incadel space. The Karatlar had long since solved natural mortality by the time of their discovery, but their gargantuan size had afforded them long lives before then, and in them exists a majesty that's difficult to describe. In an effort to assimilate the Titans into my command, I assigned the eldest of them, Sergeant James William Dorr, to my personal command. He was 283 standard cycles old, 25 human years, which was apparently rather young for a human, just barely reaching mental maturity. On our first deployment, garrisoning the forward world Imperium, a brutal death world not unlike Dorr's home, though only a Class 2 as opposed to Earth's Gaia 13 designation, a gravity of 3.6 ms squared made most of the squad uncomfortable, but Sergeant Dorr laughed uproariously as he bounded across the plains when off duty. His very step shook the ground near us. Most of the battalion resented this. When the Imperium landed, that resentment died. The Imperium weapons did virtually nothing to Dorr's personal shields and armor. It took coordinated artillery strikes to break the shield, and it took thousands of rifles to cause any real damage. Dorr's rifle, a heavy cold repeater, had a similar effect on the enemy as one of our warship batteries would have. When Dorr ran out of ammo, he simply charged the enemy and punched through their cover, his mass and enhancement suit enough to crush even the strongest of shields and armor. Enemy vehicles were crushed in his palm, entire emplacements flattened under his boot, and when he finally started to become overwhelmed, When they started to resort to orbital bombardment and our position became overrun, I assumed we were doomed, but we were not. In an act of defiance against the gods, he told the entire battalion to cluster together, to grab onto each other tightly and fit inside his locker, a locker that could fit several of our group transports with ease. In the end, he simply lifted the locker with all his comrades inside, left the now damaged beyond repair enhancement suit behind, our remaining food stores and his sword strung across his back. He ran. Across the fields, through the forests, over the rivers and hills he ran. 40 kilometers he ran that day, 50 the next. He just kept running. Eventually, he found a cave, one large enough for him to sleep and set up a camp. When, finally, he rested, his battalion wept for him, for his saving of them all. The next day, when he awoke, he asked us to stay at the cave and prepare a defense, and he went forth into the forest. Night after night he returned with wood and food, more than enough for us all. With the sheer amount of resources he could gather for us, we quickly created a settlement, then a fortress. Eventually he started coming back with more and more groups of our soldiers he found across the world, being gone for days at a time when he did so. The others had similar stories of their humans, though many of theirs had died getting them to safety, not as well trained for the wilderness as Sergeant Dorr. Under the support of a single man we grew resistance, and when the Imperium finally descended upon us, Dorr made his last stand. In that final battle, Dorr pulled aircraft down from the sky. His sword went through enemy assault lines like plasma through paper. His bare skin took the enemy fire like it was merely an inconvenience. That battle lasted for 3 days of him retreating to the trees. 3 days of the enemy suffering as Incadel reinforcements made their way to us. On the 3rd day, though, disaster struck. The cave, our shelter, began to falter. The great cavern began to crumble, but Dorr would not see us doomed. He stood in the cave as it collapsed, taking the weight, allowing us time to leave as it crumbled around him. When I turned back to face him one last time, nearly 300 kilograms of rock already on his back, he saluted me and said these last words. It was an honor to serve. We had to leave Imperium. Every human soldier stationed had died in his defense, but we ended that battle with a kill ratio of 130,000 to 1. 1 man for 130,000. My first son was named Dorr in his honor. My good friend Tirlock Farr named her daughter Tirfar Warren in honor of Lieutenant Diana Warren, who single-handedly eliminated an Imperium fleet with a plasma rifle and a hastily constructed Eva suit. Make no mistake, any individual who might read this war was won on the blood of Titans, and we must never forget that. End log. Many in Incadel space, like the captain, attribute our victory to humanity. I am inclined to agree with them. In this history, you will come to agree with me as well.